Ah, mi María, Benjamín Pacheco. Este es uno de mis Benjamín Pacheco, profesor Pacheco. We're just here.
I like this, but
I don't think it should be brighter there than here.
you should go and check. I and it's just like comunidad, you know, and it's like this street. Why is it split up?
Call AV for support. No.
Yo solamente voy a
Not on. Hey Evelyn, how you doing? Okay, we have an event here at the theater, and the microphone is not on. Also, we would like to get these couple theater lights on. It's a little too dim. Can you send someone immediately? Because we're about to start. Thank you.
Bueno, fíjate, uso mío, pienso que la bomba que más una versión,
Hey brother, how you doing? Thanks for coming. I'm not getting any audio out here.
Exactamente.
There it goes. Can we lower that a little bit? Testing, testing. A little lower. See if I think it's 2. Oh, sorry, that's a house. Can we get it back how it was?
That's a manual over there.
I want to get just these 2 lights on. Not all of them. Just 2. Perfect. That's it. Thank you, bro. You're the best.
Ese mapa se puede resaltar. Sí, lo que pasa es cuando se va de la luz. Ese porque tú me mandaste.
We're starting to I'm trying to
Mira, mira. En el desfile nos vimos. Yo tengo del
Buenas noches. Good night. We have some available seats here in the front. If you want to come closer, Jorge wants a very cozy audience, so you can come closer.
It's important that we become like a family, that everybody is part of the presentation. You are very important for this presentation. You can move a cohesive family, everyone together, bring the energy, that's going to be very important.
Mara.
Thank you.
So buenas noches. On behalf of the Center for Puerto Rican Studies and its director, Edwin Melendez, welcome and thank you all for being here. My name is Noralis Ruiz and I am the publications coordinator at Centro. I'm also an ethnomusicology student, so this topic, Rise the Bomba y Plena, is very dear to my heart. I have studied the ways in which musical expressions reflects the values and changes of a culture at large. And this is never more apparent than with Bomba y Plena music. I'm pleased to introduce you to our two presenters tonight. Professor Antonio Nadal is the Deputy Director of the Department of Puerto Rican and Latino Studies at Brooklyn College. His areas of expertise include bilingualism, Latin American and Caribbean literature, and Puerto Rican music and folklore. Jorge Arce is an actor, dancer, singer, and performer who will present tonight on the history of Bomba y Plena, as well as lead us in an interactive demonstration of some elements of the music. Again, thank you all for being here, and please join me in welcoming Jorge Arce and Professor Antonio Nadal.
Good evening, everyone. I am so happy to be here at the Centro. Perhaps I should tell you that I am now in the 44th year of my career at the university level, and that I'm retiring next year, by the way. But I'm not dying, I'll still be around. And it gives me great pleasure to be able to be here tonight, because going back to 1972, when a Center for Puerto Rican Studies was being discussed with people who were very much interested in having some kind of a central place where not only our community could come and do research, but also to connect with the budding and developing Puerto Rican Studies programs of the time developing, that it would have a central focus, both, and from the very beginning it was very clear that the Centro would have outreach to community, because the programs were created by student activity. Actually, they were bottom up, not top down. So the idea of creating a think tank, a research area that would have that dual focus of doing research while at the same time still maintaining close ties to community, because this was an absolute necessity at the time. Of course, I belong to a generation that was involved in a lot of what we call revolutionary activities. It was during the time of the Vietnam War. There was a civil rights movement. There was an ethnic revival in the United States. And then, as now, Puerto Ricans were looking to find an identity within all that. And quite often we look toward African American communities who were doing very much the same thing, developing slogans that were disturbing to some people. When they started talking about black is beautiful, right? Some people got really upset, because we had to clarify that when we say black is beautiful, or even brown power, that it didn't mean that white was ugly. So that had to be clarified because, I mean, much was going on in the activities of the 1960s, early 70s with the creation of the Puerto Rican studies programs, which are now expanded to Latino studies, Latin American, etc. I am still working in a department that calls itself the Puerto Rican and Latino Studies Program, because the Puerto Rican population, I'd like to say, was, you might say, the fulcrum of the whole movement of Latinoism in New York. And we have to bear that in mind, that the Puerto Rican studies presence, Puerto Ricans in general, in terms of identity, that waged a struggle that had an influence not only here among our community in the diaspora, which, as you know now, numbers almost 1 million more than Puerto Ricans on the island, but that we became an inspiration for people on the island itself. The topic of tonight, one which is very dear to me, as was mentioned before, because I've been teaching this course since 1975, continuously, every semester, sometimes more than one section. And it's a course on Puerto Rican music and folklore that began, and I have to make this point because it's highly important in terms of what we mean by formation, identity formation. The course began by highlighting the European aspects of Puerto Rican music. I'm a great friend of, and I'm also a member of the board of an organization called Música de Cámara. Some of you may have heard of. I've been on that board now for 28 years. And one woman in particular, who is now in her 80s, she is a soprano, a graduate of Juilliard, a tremendous person who has developed the artistic expression in classical music among Puerto Ricans. But she's also a salsera, she's also a bombera, she's a plenera. Her name is Eva de la O. Maybe some of you may have. And she's been awarded, the community has recognized her. In fact, at Brooklyn College, every year we have an activity called the Encuentro, which is taking place next week, actually, on the 13th. Today we have a piano recital, which features Latin American music from all over, including Puerto Rico, of course. I couldn't be there because I had made a commitment to be here and to discuss and to present Jorge Arce, who is really the main show tonight. The interesting aspect of the discussion tonight on these two modalities, they are really African modalities that we call Bomba and Plena, are at the heart of the question of identity, because as Puerto Ricans in the diaspora growing up, I was as conflicted as any young person because I was not a white Creole Puerto Rican, right? My family is rather mixed, you know, we were the rainbow people, as Felipe Luciano once called us, and we had to find ourselves within that amalgam of American society, and then a struggle for civil rights, and a struggle to stop the Vietnam War, where our people were much more disproportionately represented. It created a consciousness. Well, at the same time, because we were looking at the example of what black people were doing in this country, we found our own black roots. And that's very important, because I didn't even find that in Puerto Rico. And in fact, even among my family, it was always the whole thing that if you had black roots, what you had to do was amalgamate with white people because se adelantaba la raza, which I'm sure you've all heard, right? So it was a real struggle because, you know, I mean, my hair at the time was a lot more curly and everything. Now, as I get older, it's gotten, you know, that happens with age. But I tried to bring forward my afro and identify as a Puerto Rican African, right? And that really disturbed my family tremendously. But it was great because my friends began to relate on that level. And going back to Puerto Rico and talking to family, that newly found consciousness, which I found as a college student, actually, because I am not only at Brooklyn College almost forever, but I was also a student there. And it was essentially what you would call a white institution, right? There was nothing of diversity at all on those campuses. So the students that were there began to push forward the agenda that Puerto Ricans had to have something in the Brooklyn College curriculum. It started with a simple demand, at least one course, de historia or cultura, right? Música. And I remember that Eva de la O was the first to develop the course that I teach. Of course, being that she's a classical musician, a soprano, she gave it a much more European tilt. And when Eva left, that was in the middle 70s, I inherited the course. And having been through this transformation, that was personal but also academic, I began to infuse the course with the African modalities of our music. And I'll have to tell you that it's the most popular course in our curriculum. It always closes every semester, right? Because our young people can relate to music. They can relate to something that tells them something. And of course we know, and we'll hear it much more from Jorge, who's a much better expert than I am in this area, that identity with the music, that identity with movement, that identity with what it means to bring to the forefront the African heritage in our culture is hugely important for our young people. So as I began to develop the course and I began to do more research on the two forms that we're talking about today, Bomba y Plena, which are distinctive, pretty distinctive by the way. I have to also point out that in the audience, my mentor at the time, because I worked in a bilingual program at Kingsborough Community College as a counselor, as an instructor, I was teaching literature. My main gig was to teach literature and language, but I was also a musician on the side. And he's here today, actually. I want to introduce him. He's a professor emeritus from CUNY, Benjamin Pacheco. And Benjamin is a sociologist, he's an anthropologist, he's a writer, he paints, he's a Renaissance man, and he knew a lot about this stuff. He knew a lot about folklore. So that's hugely important as well, because I think I followed his steps in being a mentor to many of our young students today, who really do need that kind of grounding to find out that, you know, Puerto Ricans have something to offer, you know. So anyway, Edwin Melendez asked me to come and be the discussant tonight for this area. Actually, what I'm really doing is presenting Jorge, and then later on we'll have an interaction with the audience in a question and answer type format. And we can, actually, that's more interesting than hearing a lecture, because don't give a professor, como le dicen, le dan una oferta para que hable, hay que darle 10 para que se calle. So I'm not going to hold you any longer. I want to present Jorge, and he's going to do quite a few things, and what he says is more a theatrical presentation, and then of course it'll be more later on more like a hold down, if you know what I mean. So I want to say a few things about him that, of course, I know about his work. I actually have not met him, but I knew about his work, because in this field, you know, in this area, you know, people get to know who's who. And he really wasn't in New York. His whole thing is out there in Boston, right? I know people who are doing this kind of thing in Chicago and in Philadelphia and in Newark. So I like to think, it's something that I discussed with Jorge, that Puerto Rican music, in all of its manifestations, right? Sometimes we talk about Bomba y Plena, and then we talk about salsa. And salsa, I tell my students, Tito Puente once defined salsa as something he put in his food. He didn't like that word. It's a commercial term to sell records and to not to have to explain what I found out as a musician myself, that it's a highly complex and diversified type of music. Yes, it has Cuban roots, Afro-Cuban roots, right? There are many aspects of it that have taken from the development of popular and jazz music in the United States. It's not always easy to dance to, because I've always had students to say, well, I like merengue because merengue is easier to dance, because even if you have a broken leg, you can drag it. And then I said, well, merengue is not that easy either. So when we get into these things in the course, it's really what fascinates students, that the complexity of it, the fact that it has a rich history, and that they can relate to the fact that this is something that they're learning really for the first time, as college students, mind you, because the high schools are not really doing a great job either in that regard, but that the students can relate. And while they relate, what I also found, and this is what's important about the kind of work that Jorge does, and people like him, is that the students not only find their identity, but they also find a discipline in themselves. They become better students. They're not alienated because they're in a culture which doesn't recognize, we were talking about that earlier, a culture that doesn't recognize their individuality. We now call it diversity, right, or multiculturalism. so that these students begin to identify. They then develop what I would call a real hunger to know about themselves, and that connects to knowing about anthropology and history, and and doing well in school and being responsible. I like to quote a famous folklorist who passed away about 1.5 years ago at the nice ripe old age of 92. His name is Pete Seeger. I was influenced a great deal by the folk rock movement in the United States in the 1960s. I used to sing doo-wop. Later on, I graduated to what they call salsa, and I took up the piano and I took up percussion. And Pete Seeger said, if you want to move people, better than giving speeches and better than defending a cause and getting them all riled up, he says, sing to them, bring music into their lives, because you have to beware of a movement that sings. So that stuck to me, because I realized the power of artistic expression, whether it's through singing, through music, through dance. And of course, the topic tonight is Bomba and Plena. And both of them are forms of music that they're irresistible. I don't know if you're walking to Central Park in a summer afternoon, and you hear a bunch of drums, and you hear some coro and soneo going on, right? And it's almost like you're drawn magically to it, right? So that's of course the initial appeal, that the music itself is highly entertaining, right? And that it's interactive, that it brings people in. But tonight, aside from that, the idea is also to get some perspective on the scholarship and the work that has been done to clarify much that is not known about this phenomenon. So, let me just say a little bit about Jorge, right? For those of you who do not know him, there's an awful lot of him on the internet because of his work. He was born in Belgica, a working class neighborhood of Ponce, Puerto Rico. Ponce, which is the largest township in Puerto Rico. Ponce is a city well known for its rich cultural traditions, and it's characterized by the emergence and evolution of important Afro-Caribbean music and dances such as the Bomba Plena, but also danza, which is considered a semi-classical form. So it's very interesting, because there you see the convergence of the race and ethnicity. Jorge's family is partially from Belgica, but he has another half of his family that is from El Barrio de San Antón, right? I don't know if you remember, because it's a tagline from a famous plenas, very old, that goes something like this. La plena que yo conozco no es de la China ni del Japón, porque la plena que yo conozco viene del barrio de San Antón. And he can relate to that because he's from there as well. Thank you. My voice is not up to par today. Maybe you'll hear me sing a little bit more later. Half of Jorge's family comes from San Antón, mainly a black community known for the African tradition of the bomba music. The other half comes from the music tradition. His life in the barrio of Belgica was filled with plena music. This experience, among other things, has contributed to his creativity and curiosity. In addition to being an actor, dancer, singer, and performer, he is also a cultural historian and researcher. He holds degrees, a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from Harvard University in education. And he has studied the theater arts. Jorge's Arce's early exposure to the bomba and plena in Puerto Rico helped him to establish a direct relationship with the Cepeda family. I don't know if you know this, but in Puerto Rico, usually folkloric and popular or even classical music is identified with particular families. If you say, famous classical violinists and pianists, Lo Figueroa. But if you talk about Bomba Plena, the African side, then you talk about the Cepedas and the Ayalas, right? So Jorge established a relationship with the Cepeda family in the early 1970s. You notice he looks very young, but he's probably older than I am. He was able to include them in television, record, and theater productions. In 1979, he wrote, performed, directed, and choreographed the musical theater piece Melodía en el Caño, in which the leader and choreographer of the Cepeda's family ensemble, Petra Cepeda, played a leading role. This piece, broadcast as a TV special, was later recorded in the album Tierra, Tierra by Haciendo Punto en Otro Son. It was a group that really heavily inspired us because they were part of the very lyrical but also protest movement of Puerto Rican music going back to the 1970s. And Haciendo Punto en Otro Son, I really didn't know that Jorge was one of the people that you might say was founders of it. But they're still around, from what I understand, right, Jorge?
Yes.
Haciendo Punto, yeah. Okay, a renowned group of which Jorge Arce has been a member since 1978. It has been used as reference material in schools in Puerto Rico, as well as in public school systems in the US, connected to the Puerto Rican community. 2 more recording projects in which Arce was involved were Del Caribe al Brasil, notice the connection here, from the Caribbean, and a huge country called Brazil, where the African modalities are huge. And Moribibi. Both included Don Rafael's compositions, and in all of them, the participation of members of the Cepeda family was very important. Arce toured the United States from 1975 to 1982 as an actor and a musician. Since 1983, it has been Arce's responsibility to expand the Bomba y Plena through workshops, classes, residencies, and performances at school sites, festivals, parent and community organizations and universities, thus becoming one of the most important cultural liaisons to the Puerto Rican community in the United States. And this is highly important, this connection that we develop now between the diaspora and Puerto Rico, because it's really us creating consciousness of who we are here to our brethren back on the island. After completing his educational program at the Boston Conservatory in 1985, where he majored in musical theater, he decided to share his experiences with youth and children and to learn more from the community of people who best knew the traditions of his native culture. Arce conceived Humano, that's the name of the group that he leads, conceived Humano in 1987 as a result of an invitation to perform at the Ruiz Belvis Cultural Center in Chicago. About the same time, he became the coordinator of a successful cultural program in the Human Service Agency and gained valuable experience leading cultural projects in schools and the community. He then rejoined the community as an artist, and by combining the elements of tradition with community and cultural awareness, Humano was born. And this is why I think it's highly important that the Puerto Rican Studies Research Center, Centro, is carrying that tradition, and that they are developing a whole program which is both academic but also popular, bringing popular education to the masses. So Jorge has been doing this for many years. Jorge received his Master of Education degree from Harvard University in 1994. He's listed in Who's Who, 1984 and 1985. He has received numerous awards, including the Cardinal Cushing Center Award for Outstanding Services to the Community in 1987, the Alianza Hispana Recognition for Outstanding Contributions to the continuing growth and success of the Hispanic community in 1991, the Mayor's Recognition of Outstanding Contributions to the City of Boston, 1991, and the Massachusetts House of Representatives Recognition for Outstanding Contribution to the Arts in 1991. His musical group, Humano, was awarded the Boston Music Award for Outstanding Latin Act, 1990. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let me present to you Jorge Arce.
Thank you, Professor Fernando. I'll give a hand to it. It's very important for me to be here with you as a family. That's why I want to bring you really together. Thank you, Jose, from Bomba for being in the drums. Please give a hand to him. And thanks for Morales, and to all the staff of El Centro, particularly Edwin Melendez, who made the effort of bringing me here to share with you. I didn't bring as an expert, I didn't bring as a person who knows everything, but you are the one who knows. Actually, this presentation has a root from an invitation in 1974 in France, when I was They are performing with Puerto Rico. I don't know if you remember this play, Puerto Rico Foire, that was played for many years. I was part of that first cast for 7 years, I think, or 10 years or so. So we went to France, and in France, Jose Monleon from Spain invited me to do a performance in Venezuela, Mexico, and selected me from Puerto Rico. But my mission was to discover the African roots to be part of that play. It never happened, but the research happened. That's how I met the Cepeda family. That's how I got with Isabel Zenon, who is very important to of our language, of our culture, and all the people who wrote several materials that are very important, that are a foundation. So this presentation is not merely about Bomba y Plena, but Bomba y Plena within the context of the Caribbean. Okay, so we find the connections, and you find how many things happen, and it comes from Africa. Okay, but one thing that I want to clarify: you are the audience right now, okay, or you're gonna be the performers. I'm gonna just be sitting around there watching you. Okay, that's very important. So get ready for it. Okay, now I want to start with something, establishing something. Since this is a Center for Puerto Rican Studies, and seriously, like Antonio Nadal, I'm sorry about the Don, you know about the and many professors that are here presented. There is a lot of research here. This is a social work school. So I just brought an excerpt to establish the foundation of a writing that I developed in Puerto Rico when I was doing my doctoral studies. And actually, this is in a class with Dr. Lopez, a very important Cuban anthropologist who really inspired me. So, and it says, I'm not going to read all this, okay, just 2 pages, okay, and double space. But this is the foundation. It's African and Caribbean common language. Starting from the historical research that examines the slave trade from the 16th century to date, there is overwhelming evidence that African and his descendants were treated as objects of exploitation and not as bearers or carriers of culture. Yet, even when we understand the importance of them as subjects of this valuable contribution, we continue to distort their image by extrapolating those expressions invented or created by European slaves. In the past, traders of human beings used expressions such as black or negro, as well as carabali, lukumi, mandingo, tagua, or kanga, nicknames, to simplify the slave trade. This denied the history of the true identities of African cultural groups such as Igbo, Yoruba, Susu, Nupe, and Malinke, Wangara, among others. So when we talk about Bomba y Plena, we have to talk about reality, about that foundation. In the present time, we still use expressions derived from the lexicon of the conquerors, such as denigrating, which derived from the nigger or negro, instead of the term degrade or downgrade, which by definition would be more correct. And worse, we use them especially when we qualify the minimum degree of an attitude or a physical shape, either in the parameter of the discussion or description of an event, as well as in the social, academic, legal, or political ground, and especially through the mass media, books, newspapers, radio, and television. Within the field of anthropology, ethnography, and history, expressions such as black people or negro slave trade, in other words, trata negrera, instead of slave trades of human beings or just Africans, are still exercised. And this is a shame. Okay? It is clear that we still actively are using the language created by the conquerors. With it, the European traders stripped the identity of Africans brought forcibly, constantly reminding them, and this is a quote in the book of The Africans, written by an African, Ali Masrui, a quote from the 16th century, reminding them, forget that you are African, remember that you are black, forget that you are African, remember that you are black. That's important, 16th century. Okay? To this end, the difference is obvious when we refer to the Greek, Italian, or Asian people, with gerunds that denote source of origin, compared to when we refer to black or negro, which is more related to a physical characteristic, not a country or geography ancestry. This persistent response to the attitudes of Europeans that used dichotomizing black and white expression in order to divide and conquer, especially in the North African area. Thus, they affected an originally multiracial and culturally diverse world from North Africa to Southern Europe, for which there was not a difference. In the same book, there's a quote. Nothing more forcefully reminded the inhabitants of Sub-Sahara who were black, such as the attitude of Europeans towards the skin color. Julius Nyerere of Tanzania explains how Africans across the continent knew they were one in relation to the Europeans. Does that mean something to you? I feel confident that as contemporary and future researchers and historians, we can liberate ourselves from the racist language of the conquered. This language does not leave room in our society for African descendants who have been boxed for so many centuries as subjects of exploitation and not exposed as subjects of equal participation with a broader and shared language. It is this Eurocentric and racist language that misplaces and obscures the best contributions of our ancestors, promoting at the same time their invisibility. Even though we can express constantly that we all carry this beautiful legacy in our blood, like the Bomba y Plena, while still using that language, we hide from our skin the two mulataje, indigeneity, and Africanness. Okay, with this we'll start. Now, I want to bring the light down because there is a map here that is going to strike to you and it struck to me in 1967. It was created. And I discovered this in the 80s, at the end of the 80s, and at the beginning of the 90s. This map was designed by Arnold Peters. Okay, if you can help me here, please bring the light down, then we can bring that up. Okay, and it shows the real dimensions of our world. And what Arnold Peters is telling us is that if you take the world and you open it like that, okay, it's going to do a lot different. Check this out here, how Africa is a lot larger. In the other version of map of German Mercator's, German Mercator is a German cartographer in the 16th century. Arnold Peters is a German cartographer from more contemporary right now. And this scientific just said the other map is wrong. See how Europe can fit more, including that than 5 times in African continent. Okay, African continent is a lot larger. Everything to the south is a lot larger. Look at South America. Okay, so it's telling us, it's bringing us a message that is very important here. Now, talking about the shapes and the shape of the continent of Africa, then enlighten us, because then I got information from Ali Masui that the real boundaries of Africa goes down to India. And for the moment, that's very important. Because in Petra's studio, a while ago when I returned to Puerto Rico to direct the music program of the Institute of Culture in 2001, and then after I finished my work there, I came back into the diaspora of my people. So I was at Petra's studio, and she brought this woman, Puerto Rican woman, who also, her mother is from India. So we're talking about Hindu Puerto Rican woman, dancer. And that was the first time I was confronted with the kata from India. And the kata from India is a dance that has the same feature, the same attack of the bomba in front of the drum. And come from India. Okay? I remember years ago, many years ago, when I used to produce in Latte in San Juan, this production with Sunshine, and you know all these people, okay, before I entered Haciendo Punto Son, I was given a bongo, which we identified with the West African bongo and chevilla as the religious version from Morocco, okay, from North Africa. And that's another piece of information that gave me something that was happening. That's why I cannot talk only about Bomba y Plena, but within the context, but we can see the picture more broader. Now, there is something very important that tell us more about this map here that really brought come to my mind. So who discovered America? So we still celebrate who? Right. Please don't laugh. Okay, so, but we know that the Native Americans discovered America. It's important when we talk about Bomba to talk about them. Because first, the Taino, say Taino. Taino. Let's celebrate that. And let me clarify something to you. Taino is not the real name. I found out that that's the way they used to welcome people. Okay? So I can imagine when Columbus came, all these people, they were welcoming. Taino, Taino, that means bueno, bueno, good, good. And the Europeans said, oh, they're telling us the name. That happened in Africa. When we talk in the question, we talk a little about the Bomba, you're going to see. Now, one thing that we know now, that we classify finally, Native American, they discovered America. Taino, they discovered the Caribbean. The Arawaks, or the Taino, the Guaranis coming from South America. And all this group that met there, that's very important. And then, after them, by the 4th century, I believe it was, African people came also to America. Okay, that's important. Check the book Before Columbus, Ivan Van Sertima. And that tells me something. When you check these pictures, when you check this covered material, you find that they established with themselves in the Olmecas. But did they come in those little ships like in the Tarzan movies? No. They came in big vessels. No, this is Abubakar II. And when you talk to a Mali inhabitant, they know who Abubakar II is. And they know that they have all this scientific navigations knowledge that they shared later on with the Europeans. So they came to America. And among the Olmecas, okay, civilization, you can find these big faces with African features. That's very important for me as a musician to know. And then we know that Christopher Columbus came in this part. We're talking about Erickson, but we don't want to concentrate in this area here. But he brought with them, and they brought with them, okay, the conquerors, this 90% of Arabs that populated the world in the first 50 years. Okay, so Lopez Valdez assuring that to us. He had the future. You can find it there. Okay? And that's important because they mix with the natives. 90% of the people who came. That's important. When we talk then in a conference in Puerto Rico about the Plena, we have this Lester Nurse, a great friend and professor of university in Puerto Rico, who found in Morocco panderos like we have. Okay? That's very interesting. Okay? And they use it polyrhythmically the same way we use it. And I have a film that was a production that was done in Spain production, but was filmed in Morocco. There is a scene in which these people beat the panderos in the same way we do, but differently. Okay? So that's another piece of information. So it's very important that these Arabs, who in 1514 and 1511, okay, and you can find the book Esclavos Rebeldes, Guillermo Baral, okay, a great friend and a great researcher, who found that in those 2 years, and also Fernando Ortiz, history of Puerto Rico, found the same information, Arabs and natives fought together against slavery. There is in this book that I found in Mashpee, in the Wampanoag powwow, okay, you know about the Wampanoag natives, the Black Indians, in which you see this engraved, this illustration, French illustration, in which Africans and natives are dancing together. So they're sharing also. And then you see continuously, you find out more information about this interaction. But first, and I can imagine as an actor, how the Europeans, and you can see Ricardo Alegría talks about that. They didn't like the fact that this Latino, can you say Latino? Those Arab who could speak Spanish and Arab, okay, and who could also learn how to communicate with the native, they didn't like that. So I can imagine these people changing their strategy, okay, and with the Dutch people, they started bringing people from West Africa, okay, and as you know, they took one family, okay, one family, because the mother is important in the tribe, okay, anthropologically wise talking, okay. They divided, so they wouldn't communicate like the other people, like the whole of us. Okay? And they spread them out, little by little, starting in the Caribbean, which is the umbilical cordon of what we have in America. Okay? That's very important because they brought people from Congo. Say Congo.
Congo.
From Senegal.
Senegal.
From Mali.
Mali.
From Mozambique.
Mozambique.
From Angola.
Angola.
From Namibia. From Ghana. From Senegal, from all these parts, they spread them out. And now in 2014, we have the... What is that? In Puerto Rico, we have a step that I learned as a child. You have land, you do. That is called plena, right? Pumpa, pim, pim, pumpa, pim, pim, pumpa, right? Okay. One day I was in a disco club. And I was saying something like, everybody know how to do the conga. Oh my God. I said that. Oh, I remember that song? And I stopped myself. And this is like a book, like you open and you find that conga, you say conga?
Conga.
Come from Congo, right? The name of the country. And these instruments are called conga, right?
Yes.
Yes. And then you find that in Cuba, our sister land, they do a dance that we have been doing since you were child. That goes boom 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 boom. That is called conga, right? Then I myself saw a can in the same song, and I opened it, okay, and I found a rhythm that I learned as a child in Mexico called Mozambique. Can you say Mozambique?
Mozambique.
Everybody knows how to do that conga, so the song has the Mozambique rhythm into it. When I look at the map, Mozambique is a land from where people were brought to the Caribbean, to Puerto Rico, from Mozambique, a lot of them from Puerto Rico. Okay? So that's important. Then, back again to the song. People will think I was crazy, right? And I open again, and then I found the rock rhythm. Okay? Everybody know how to do the conga. Do you like the rock? Okay. You know where the rock comes from, right? It comes from Africa. It's a tribal, ancient dance and music form that relates to the bomba, relates to all these dances. Okay? That was called Ball in the Cat by the 1920s. It was called Race, and also it was called Twist. Remember the twist?
Yeah.
You just, remember how you dance the twist?
Yes.
And we used to shake like that? Okay. Now you know that in the Caribbean, we have that twist. Okay. It can take us to all the islands. For example, let's go to Dominican Republic with that merengue. Tum, pa, tum, pa, ka, tum, pa. Or let's go to Cuba with the salsa, okay, or with the rumba, pa 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 pa, and then the salsa, and then let's go to Puerto Rico with the bomba, with the chica, pum pum pa, pum pum pa, pum pum pa pa pa. We have that twist there, right? And let's now. Okay, but let's go to Trinidad with the calypso. Okay, a lot of twists here. And then now let's go down to Brazil with the twist. In the samba, say samba. Okay, now let's go as it happened to me when I went to Cuba in 1978 from Jamaica, and this beautiful festival, Caribbean Festa. And we went in a ship, all the Caribbean together, playing together. That's why we have this here today, okay? And dancing together. And I noticed that the Jamaica were dancing the reggae with a twist. Okay. Now, let me bring you to this table here. Okay. This table, as you know, have all these instruments that are going to talk to us about history, about what we are, about identity. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Now, this first one here is called chequere. Can you say chequere?
Chequere.
Say it and do it. Chequere. Okay, before and when we start about bomba, we also have to talk about this instrument. Okay, a natural African instrument. Okay, this instrument has a board. It's a board. Marimbo. Can you say marimbo?
Marimbo.
Has a skirt. Okay, a falda. And also this instrument, you can create this sound with that combination. But this instrument has a characteristic. It can speak to you. Okay? Check this out. What is your name? What do you say? Check it out, because most of the names of this instrument come from the way they sound. What is your name? Huh? What do you say? Huh? Bomba. Bomba. What is your name? Bomba. What is your name? Bonga. Bonga? No, check this out. Say something else. Say tumbadora. Say tumbadora. No, check this out. What is your name? Tumba. Say tumba. What is your name? Conga. Say conga. Now, if you want to play this instrument, you need to count numbers in Arab. You know how to count in Arabic language?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, everyone together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. There we go. Now, we're facing a problem here. The Africans were not permitted to bring their instruments. Okay? But they found that the Taino natives were using this one that we call. Now you're speaking Taino language, okay? Or maybe African language. Or maybe Taino and African. Okay? But I can imagine this African fellow with the Taino asking him, hey, Taino, come over here. Can I borrow your maraca? Yes, you can borrow my maraca. That's why we use the maraca in the bomba. Boom, 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 pa, boom, 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 pa, boom, 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 pa, boom, 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 pa, boom, 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 pa. Right? Now here we have this more contemporary maracas. Okay, this one used mostly in the salsa. Pam pa pam 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 pam. Here we have this one that is called. Hey, widow. And you're that, you're talking about, really answer-free language. Okay? And I can imagine this interaction. Okay? But before I used to think that this widow, the widow, was mostly like a native or white Puerto Rican. Because Alegría clarified something to me that Fernando is a musicologist published in one of his books about Africanism. You can find it in Amazon. Okay? And in this, what Ricardo told me, in many meetings that we have in the house, is that he found notes, that he found the widow more related to the Africans than the natives, okay? And he found the widow more from the 17th century on, okay? And when you look at the Francisco Yer Cuadro, the paint of Francisco Yer El Velorio, what do you see? An African-looking light boy with a widow in the hand. And nobody talks about that. Why is that? Okay? And then, when we find this widow, we can use it in the plena. And many other forms that have that answer, like the dancer. Okay? And the hero music. But that mapege come from the Phrygian mode of the Arabs, okay, North Africans, as well as the Ecuador. Don't talk about that too much. Okay, now here we have this other widow that, as you know, is mostly used in the salsa. And in many other forms, like that song, etc. This one is called which one? What is the name of this one?
Guira.
Guira. Thank you. So we have the guiro, we have the guira. You know, as the merengue from Dominican Republic, who have a strong connection with Haiti. A strong influence from Haiti. That part relates to the bomba. The second part of that happy merengue that we call pandiche, you know, because of a historical something that happened there. That they needed some other people that were not from Dominican Republic to Latin America, and they created. But that's a version. That's a version. It's more. This is more intense. It's more and more complicated than that. Now we have other instruments. For example, let me show you this instrument. This instrument is called akuaku. Can you say akuaku? Okay, Asian language. Okay. Bye. So it's very theatrical. Okay, this instrument is Asian. What reminds me about notes from Lopez Valdez about people that were misled from China. Okay, in I think in the 19th century, like something like 150,000 people were brought from China, misled with false contract. They were enslaved. Okay, they worked together with the Taino natives. They were together with the Africans. You can find information in the area of Puerto Rico in Calley. There were sugar cane plantations. Okay, because always we pulled them, we placed them in the coast. And Calley is not the coast. And when we're talking about the Frances Ledru, who you can find the first traces of the bomba, I believe is 17th century Morocovis. People who were there dancing and playing bomba. That means that the Africans were everywhere in the island. So it's misleading information that we have said that just the coast is the African presence. And the African presence, when we talk about north to south of Africa, is more, and the south of Europe is more complex. Okay? Starting with the fact that Africa is a name that has two versions. A Roman version of the creation of the name, or a Greek, or a sub-Saharan version of the name. Okay? We're not thinking about Tarzan films anymore, right? Now, we have this beautiful thing here about these Chinese that were established. A group that most of them were raised in Cuba, but some of them were taken to Puerto Rico, and I found when I was doing my doctoral studies that these fellow students, grade student, her husband come from those Mantabis. And they're studying in Guayama. There is a neighborhood there. She told me, and she assured me, that a lot of those inhabitants there that are Puerto Rican, they come from those Mandarin Chinese. And I have a picture that I can share with you about this couple, okay, in which he looks like a Chinese, and his wife looks like an African, an Afro-Puerto Rican. And the granddaughter looks like a Mandarin Chinese. And they say ojalá. And they say bendito. Okay, also. But ojalá come from oh Allah. Okay? That may complicates the thing a little more. I'm sorry about that. Okay? Now, here we have other instruments like this one. I'm just showing this instrument because you're the one. Okay? Just, so be ready for this. Okay, this one, you just play it like this. This is called the United States Barra Slap. But we always call it quijada de burro. When you say quijada de burro? Quijada de burro. Donkey show. Why was that? Because then, in Haciendo Punta, actually, I discovered this instrument that is el quijada de burro that we use in the Caribbean. And that's explained to me why we call this quijada de burro. Okay, now, here we have this other instrument that you can use, like this one, afutere, from Brazil, and we go, actually, let's visit now the wooden instruments that are very important. Here we have this one that we call what? Palito, thank you. We call it palito, but also you can call them clave. When you say clave? Clave. Now, if we go to Puerto Rico, I'm sorry, I'm going to do it really soft, okay? And you play the side of the drum like naturally and ancestrally have been done in the bomba. Now, automatically, you change the name to quoi? Say quoi? Well, let's go back to the clave. Okay, let me show you something. Yeah, share with you something. The clave is not only the instrument, it's a pattern. Okay, it's a pattern, it's a way of living. I start right down in the one and flies and go out in the three. That is downbeat, up and even numbers. That's mathematic relation. That's why Bernardo Ortiz from Cuba, when you can see that in his notes, he was hired by the Cuban government to prove in the, I think in the 40s, before the revolution, that African descendants or Afro-Cuban were savage people, didn't have the honor of the place in the mainstream. When he went down there with those Najigo, he discovered that it was so mathematically and anthropologically complex that not even the white people could sit on their feet. Okay? And he got us to be, from that point on, one of the best musicologists that we have in the whole America continent, I mean the world. Okay? That we also always have to do, we play Bomba y Plena, we always have to use him as a reference, point of departure. So here we have this one. Actually, the other one. Try with me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh my God. There's a lot of playing. Okay, no. This is the signal of the director. The signal of you know, the band, you know, they go, well, let's stop. Okay. Now, let's travel through the Caribbean with this club. Okay? Everybody here? Repeat, soft. Let's go to Dominican Republic. And now let's go to Puerto Rico with the plena. Say plena. Oh, you can sing and play at the same time. Okay. Now let's go to Cuba with the salsa. Say salsa. Now, let's stop here. Let's divide that pattern, cut it in half, and just retain the first part. The 1, 2, 3, So play that with me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Everybody there. Now, let's go to Puerto Rico with the sika. Bomba, say bomba sika. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Now, let's go to our sister Haiti with the same pattern. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. That's a compa or merengue. Say compa. Now let's go to Trinidad with the calypso. Say calypso. Now a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now let's go to Brazil with the samba. Say samba. Everybody with me. 1, 2, 3. Cutu. ¡Ese coro! And also we can go to the Jamaican reggae. Okay, say reggae. Okay, or we can go to the soul rock, or also we can go to the reggaeton. Okay, can we try the reggaeton? But this time, just sing with me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey, give me that. Give me more. Oye, chico, ¿para dónde vas? A comprar un para de algo, pero no te tengo para dónde vas. Pero que vete con dos cosas que te da completo. Vete con nosotros que te da what do you want? And you know something? Another piece of history. That was composed by Joey Castro in 1961. For an advertisement in TV, okay? 1961, yeah, okay? Nothing new under the sun, as we say. Okay, now, we have this club. This club is like this club. This is called, in any store that you go, you can find it as African club. I used to call it rumba club, okay? So if you shape your hand like this, shape your hand, you place this part here, you see, check how our ancestors, they were so smart, okay? So you create a music box here, okay? Not too hard, and not too hard with this, so put the finger here, and you play right on the center. What a beautiful sound there is, okay? Now in this pattern, you just delay the third beat a little more, okay? Like a 1/1/8 of in the musical activity, okay? So, and then you add the drum. Boom 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 boom, beep beep boom 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 boom. Ah la la, ah la la, ah la 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 la. That's the time. Ay qué bonita carita. Belibela, 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 belibela. Ah pa pa para y pompi pompi pompi. So anything you want to do, playing piano, improvising and with the sax, or composing the music, or singing, or improvising what you say, you need to follow the club. It has very important role in any place. Okay, now here we have this instrument that you can use, but this instrument has a quality. It has a low pitch and a high pitch. And that's what you need for those of you who think you cannot learn this instrument. That's false. Okay? Because this is what you just need to think about. Low and high, that combination. For example, in Brazil, they use it like this. But this is a little boring, right? Yeah. Okay, but let's start combining the polyrhythmica. Say polyrhythm, polyrhythmica. Okay, so we combine it like this. Now, so when we combine that polyrhythm, now it's not boring anymore. Now here we have this instrument called, what do we call this? Centro, thank you. This is a very old name. Say Centro. Say campana. Say cowbell. That's a story for that. Okay, now, cowbell uses the same principle. Low and high. So you combine that. Now here we have this other bell called agogo. Can you remember that? Agogo, say agogo. Remember in the 1960s we had these agogo dancers? Okay, you shake like this, and we had a ride like that. Okay, a boom like that. Okay. So when you say agogo there, you speak in African language, one of the many languages. Okay, and as you know, in Brazil they call it agogo. And basically combines the low and pitch and high pitch. But the mother of this instrument is the dawota. Can you say dawota? From Africa. Double bell, bigger bell from Africa. Okay? In Brazil they combine it like this. Okay. And here we have this bell. This bell. Don't look at me like this. This is no, you know what happened? Well, we were filming for global production from Brazil, a special program for Centro also in New York, actually Puerto Rico. We were in New York, and this guy, the producer, he gave me this gratitude, invited to me, and I laughed like the same way you did. Okay? But he showed me a film about how they were using this bell. Okay, this is great. So I want to make an experiment here, do an experiment here. I would like to invite you, lady. Okay. Do you have this? Water. And while you get over here, okay, I can give the conference while you get over here. No. When you get over here, I want to just let you know that you're gonna pick up this, okay? And I want you to play just the low and high, and keep it like that, okay? Let me see that. Let me see that. Wow. No. No, keep it like that. I'm not gonna look at you. I'm gonna put that on the plate, okay? Don't look at me. Don't look at me, okay? Keep it there. Give it more. Wow! No. Imagine that we get out of here and we keep it following these clovers and these bells, and someone gets hungry and this lady over there say, "I was hungry." It's not I haven't eaten. What we do? We turn this upside down and get a little water here, and that's it. Thank you very much. Your name, please? Mara. Thank you. You may have to Mara. Now. Let's be just briefly with you that most of the instruments that we took for granted were just instruments that were working instruments in the past. That's important before we talk about Bomba y Plena. Now let's talk about this dispersion of our people throughout, and let's find similarities. For example, here we have these instruments that are very similar in construction. Okay, this is a pandeiro. Pandeiro, check that. Pandeiro. From Brazil. Okay, this is a tambourine from Brazil. Okay, and this is a pandero. When you say pandero, I know that you know that. Pandero. Or say pandereta. Pandereta. Don't call it plenera, please. Because plenera is the woman who sings the plena. We always protested about that because some business people were calling them pleneras to spell them. No, stop that. It's not plenera. Plenera is the woman that sings the plena. That actually in Ponce, there's a lot of singers and guys of plena heroes. Okay? This is important. Now, that tambourine, you take it like this, you're going to take it like that, and you just scratch it here, a little cosquilla. Okay, so you change the tone. Okay, now, the pandeiro, you use a bare hand. Okay? And Brazil, for example, a basic pattern would be. Okay, for the plena, we first have one person with this part that we call it bajo. Say bajo. Bajo. Also seguidor. Seguidor. Sometimes you find confusion about the name because seguidor follows, continues, doesn't stop. Okay, and you can find that the person is playing something like this. What part of our body sounds the same? The heart, the corazón, el escuchador, right? Now, here we have that then a second person will come in with the second one that's not specifically because of size, because of tuning. Okay, it's a little tuned up. Okay, we call it banao. You say banao? Sometimes some people call it punteador. Cool. So we have the bajo, pum pa, pum pa, pum pa, pum 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 pum. So we have that full rhythm, that combination. Then we found, now the third person will come with this one, higher, that is called quinto. You say quinto? Or requinto? Those are two names that the Pedro called me, okay? And then you have, right, Jose? Am I right? You can tell me that I'm wrong because you are the one that comes from there, okay? Okay, now we have the bajo and the banal. Pum pa, pim pim, pum pa, pim pim, pum pa, pim pim, pum, pim pim, pim pim, pum, pim pim, pim pim, pim pim, pim pim, and we got that trilogy, that trio. And then we have the trio of the polyrhythm of the plena, the basic one. Okay, with all the other elements that are added throughout the years of like the widow, like all that, like, as you know. Okay, now I come here in front of this instrument, congas, tumbadoras, and timbas, and this is like a piano, like every instrument. Okay. Okay, what is that? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Okay. Now, as part of my presentation, I'd like to share this beautiful story about how these drums were made in the Caribbean. Okay? Imagine this guy called Panwa. Can you say Panwa? A real name of a real guy from Africa. He was there in his country, in Africa, in one of the coasts. Okay? With the Bada people, with the Susu people, right from Senegal to all fishermen that were then from Senegal to Ghana, all these people, the Bada, and he was there enjoying with his family. Okay, so enjoy that. Close your eyes and imagine that sun, the sky, everything, his family, the animals, the kids, just by the sound of the sea, enjoying playing. And suddenly, these two big hands grab him, snatch him from there, put him in a ship. And right on the ship in the middle of the sea, his name was changed from from Bagua to Jack. Okay? Now this new name, Jack, is pushed to go there in the ship with his new name to a sugarcane plantation in one of the Caribbean islands. Which I can imagine that he was that day working with his machete. And you know what a machete is, right? Very sharp, actually. Okay? And he was cutting his sugarcane. And that day, his master came to him. Hey, Jack, something. This is a free day for you. You can do whatever you want. That's why we have so many celebrations and festivals and the hidden places, dancing the bomba still in the 20th century, like the Pasillo Guanabia. So he found his people. Hey, people, you know something? The master told me that we can play today. We can have fun. Let's play my drum. My drum? Oh my God. No, my drum is in Africa. Oh my God. No, I'm not going to jump over the sea. Are you crazy? Okay, so he did something else. He started looking around. I'm sorry, let me look around here. Started looking around. And suddenly, he saw a big barrel like this one. Remember the ship from Europe, they used to carry a lot of codfish and meat and things like that in this barrel. So he emptied the barrel. He shined the barrel. But he was missing something. What? Skin. The top. What can I do? Okay, so suddenly he looked up there in the hill. He saw a goat. And he said to himself, I know that goat from Africa. Let me go up there and talk to her. So we went up the hill. Boom, beep, boom, beep, boom. Woo, woo. Wow. And he asked the goat, hey goat, may I borrow a piece of your skin to make a drum with my barrel down there? And the goat said, meh. Okay, goat, you know something? This is the only day that I can do this. So I need just a little piece of your skin. And the goat said, meh. Okay, listen, my sister, I know you're from Africa. Why don't we deal with something? And suddenly the goat ran away, and the man chased the goat. This is the goat, and this is the man. He grabbed the goat. He took his knife, a little knife. He took a little piece of the skin. I'm sorry, goat. Thank you, goat. And he brought it down the hill. Boom, 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 boom. And he put it on top on his barrel. And finally he had his first drum in the Caribbean. Give her a hand to the drum, please. Now, we're going to play. But before we start playing, do something else. You listen first to his heart. So place your hand, please, and listen to your heart. No, on the other side, Okay. So he took that idea. And he put it on his drum like this. And he combined his hands in such a way that he made up something different. And that was the rhythm. And he was very happy with it. here, my drum piano, we love to play with you. But Jack said, hold it there, hold your horses. Before you start playing with me, you need to follow me carefully. Listen to me. Okay, I'm going to start over. Oh, he started over. And this guy said, what a nice beat we have there. Let me try to follow that. Keep it up. Listen carefully. He started doing something like this. Boom, ba, boom, ba, ba, boom, 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 ba, boom. And then another man came with his drum. And listen to me. I'm bringing here the first drum in the Caribbean. I'm sorry, Robert. I just want to play with you. But Robert said, "Oh, don't worry about that. You know what we need to do is follow Jack with something nice that is doing. Jack, have to do that thing over again." And Jack said, "What thing are you talking about? This is a serious rhythm. Okay, listen to me carefully." Okay, so he started over like this. And then this guy said, Robert said, okay, now, and now follow me hand with this. Okay, keep it up, keep it up. Then this guy said, what a nice combination we have here, let me hear it. He sat down, he got the rhythm in his body, okay, and he started doing something like this. Give it up! And you know what happened? A lot of people came, and when they heard that music, they started dancing. And then suddenly, a guy with such an attitude came also with them. And this guy said, can you please stop this music? But the people just kept dancing. And then he said, can you please stop this music? And the people stopped. And then he said, I don't know why we have 3 people playing all those drums, but I can play them by myself. And the people said, ooh. And he said, that I said, they don't seem to believe me, right? What did I say? What did I just say? I can play all those instruments, but they don't seem to believe me. Can you help me? Okay, please excuse me. Don't step on my foot on the piece of here. I'm sorry, I would like to play your drum. Can I play your drum? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, just don't jump over there. Okay, just go around. Okay, just count it out. 1, 2, 3, and sit down. Right there. Jose, has he sit down right there? Yeah. Okay, good. Go around. Be careful with that woman. Okay. Okay, please. Okay. Okay, behave. Okay, to around like this. Okay. Okay. Oh, Robert! How you doing, my friend? Oh, you're taller. Okay, you're growing. Okay. May I use your drum just to do something nice? Okay. Quicker. Thank you very much. Okay, you're really tall. Okay, so just get around. Okay, jump and do whatever you want. Okay. Be careful. Don't fall. Okay. Just go around. You can sit behind those gentlemen already. Okay. Okay. Go around and sit right there. Behave. Okay. Okay. Sit to the drum. You put it like this. Okay. Jack, please. You're going to close the place, so you need to get. See, I just need just a brief moment. Okay, just go around. Okay, go around. Thank you. Now, be careful there. Okay, go around. Okay, just go around and sit down. Okay, right there. Sit down right there. Just go around. Okay, sit down by there. Don't bother anyone. Okay. Okay, there you go. Okay, so he took the other drum. You put it like this. Okay. And now he said, okay, Jack, can you come and show me what were you playing on this drum right here? Don't look at me like that. Okay, now let me try. Let me try first. Something like this, right? And you, you were playing something like this, right? And you were playing something like this, right? And then he said, okay, people, just watch me. He got ready. Okay, he sat down. And then he said, okay, Doc, I'm going to start with you. Just correct me if I do something wrong, okay? Okay, there we go. Okay, Robert, check me out. Okay, go with you. Okay, I'm gonna go with you, okay? He said, I know just, wait a minute, watch me, okay? He said, I know just, watch me, wait a minute. But on the way there, this guy ran into a cow. This is the cow. So he went to the cow. Hey, cow, man, borrow your cowbell, please. But the cow said, no way, yo. Finally, he convinced the cow. He took borrow the bell, thank you, cow. He just listened to his heart, and he started combining like this. Wanted to join these beautiful people with the cowbell and the drum. But just came with just 2 sticks. Oh, I want to play with them with 2 sticks. I want to play with you. But people look at her and laugh at her. 2 sticks. But he said, hey, listen to me. These 2 sticks are going to be the most important instrument in 2014, okay? And I'm going to call the clap. Say clave. And now everybody now, clap with me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. We are ready to clave here. Okay. Let's pump. Okay. Let's pump. Yeah, no, you. Come over. I invite you. Okay, come on. Take this clave. I have more claves here. Okay. Want to come over? You can come here. Yes. Everybody come here with the clave. Keep it there. Okay. Here we go. Take this clave. Let's see if we have more claves there. Okay. And remember. Okay. Sit down. Okay, so you go to the studio, okay, well, prepare you for that. Okay, now, remember about shaping your hand like this, placing these palitos and clave like this, so when you play, you have a better sound. You see? The sound, that's the secret. Okay, so there we go. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, everybody here. Okay, now, we are going to combine the 1, 3, or 1, 3, or just count it 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody with the hands. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sir, let's go. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, now take it. You look like a parandero. Okay, just hit it. Very nice. You see how he does it? He doesn't do it like this. If you do it like this, you break the stick. So that's the way to go, right? You got it. Okay, now what's your name? Diora. And your name? Lianse. And Adam. Remember you also. Okay, we have these beautiful people here, and I want to divide this beautiful audience in 2 groups. I'm sorry, you have to go out. So you are on there, okay. Now, this group here will follow Gary with 1, 2, 3, 4. Please don't mind. You laugh, but don't mind about them for now, okay? Just look at your menu here. Okay, 1, 2, you just won the election, right? Okay, 2, 3, 4, go. 1, 2, no, important. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, because this group here needs to hear where they want in order to start. That 1 is important for any percussionist or for any people that start to sing music. With the bomba, the 1 is crucial, especially for Cuban, with all the respect. We can play rumba, but for some Cuban rumbero, it's very difficult to play the bomba because it flows. You don't have the 1 clear, it's another language. Okay? That's important. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, count. 1, 2, count. Now here. Okay, don't look at me. Don't say your menu. When you hit 1, here, you stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, wait. 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3 more here. Give me more. Okay, give me more. Give me more. I don't need to do this anymore. Stop! Or stop, please! No. The drums are going to telling us when to stop. Like we have in the bombas, you know, we have break to start and break to finish. Okay? When you do, for example, let me just stop here. You show this. When you do the Zika, for example, one of the breaks is all the drums respond like that. You don't have to say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Even though it's Arab and North Africa, we love them, but you know, we don't need to count like that. But when we repeat, and that's how we finish. Okay, in the Yuba, it's the same. In the Yuba, when we have the way to start, so they respond to that. The people start, ta 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 ta, everybody, do 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 do. Finish. Easy. We have to have the whole night. We have to do complicated things for that. Okay, for the Hollandés. Okay, just that, and then we finish. Okay, so as simple as that. Now, thank you. Now. I would like, I forgot to mention, I have some CDs there. We need to get to Boston, so we need to pay for the gas. you will please help us and take all the information. We're going to have a plenazo in May. A plenazo that we're going to have here, okay? So May 16th. Come here, come to Boston. We brought some people like Roberto Cepeda is going to come back to us. We brought Nico from New York, okay? And we hope to bring some other people and share with them. Now, here we go. I would like to bring some of the people here to stage. Let me say, Marisa, who would like to come from you? Both of you? Come up with you, because you are generators. We're generators. You know, you were here, President of Helen Melendez. I'm gonna get you later, okay? Don't worry. Okay. And I'm gonna give you this instrument here, that is the one. This instrument I'm gonna play the one. Okay? So, come up here, you're gonna be in the center. You're gonna be in the center so everybody can follow you now, because this is gonna be the one. You can stay there. I'm gonna move myself on because now you are the most important people. And this is what you need your city to do for now. You pick it up like this, okay? And just play. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get that space so you know where the one, we don't need to count one anymore. Okay, for you, is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. And go here, nearby there. Okay, now, we have that, we have the 1, 2, okay, in the 1, 2, 3, 4, I will, Nala, you good with the math and all that? I know that you get with a great historian. Let's try that, come over here, okay. Okay, I'm gonna give you this instrument. And check this out. While Dora is doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me move this over just quickly. Let me move this over quickly. I'm just by him. You're gonna follow him. And well, you're gonna follow that one. But you're gonna do fractions. Okay, as Fernando just said, the complication of this music is doing 1, 2, 3, 4 with the low, starting with the low pitch. You're gonna double that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Follow me there. Follow me there. Okay, let's try that. Okay, you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay. You see? Okay. I love it. Okay. I'm sorry. Over you. Now, I would like to have people from this side right here. Okay? And who would like to volunteer? You. Okay? I'm sorry. Would you like to come? Come over here. And I need you. 2 people. How many people? Let's say. Yeah, we can have 3. Another person. Would you like to come? Oh my God! Give me a hand. Okay, that's great. Beautiful. Over here. Okay. Now, for now, I don't want you to play straight, Plena with the pandero. I just want you to do a pulse that I need for this, and then later on, we can work it out. Okay? Okay. Right here. Oh, no. Right here. Right by that. Okay. So you move over. So you're in the center always. You come here on this side, and then you move over. I'm gonna move the table for you. So we don't have the next year today. So it's over. Okay, you come over here and you go on the other side. Okay. Right here. You just stand by here, because you're gonna be following them right here. Come right here. You're gonna be between the one and what you know what they're doing. Okay. And this is what I want you to do. Take this instrument. Okay. Right now, take this instrument. Oh, I'm sorry. And then you're gonna remember to play 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? But you just play 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, emphasize 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And that's pretty hard. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, follow that. 1, 2, 3, play the card. Little more. Yeah. Ow. Okay. Very excellent. Now, I would like to invite some other people from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, who volunteers would like to come, please. Okay, you have just 1 minute to the side. Okay, you. Yeah, come. Oh, you come.
Jump on, come
Right there. Yeah, yes, thank you. Volunteer. Volunteer, I want another one. 2 volunteers, another volunteer. You won't be alone, so come. Okay. But the lady, would you like to come? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Come over here. And I would like to give you, actually, a gentleman, would you like to come? Yeah, come over. Okay, I have no measurement for you. Okay, I have this one, and I have this one. Okay? I have all this for you, but don't take it home, please. I'm kidding. Okay. Okay, now, stand right by here. So you place yourself between Diora and Mr. Nadal, Professor Nadal, and Marisa, no. Okay, I'm sorry, okay? Okay. And then take this instrument here, the wheel, take this wheel here, okay, the stick, and you take this wheel. And basically, what you're going to do, you're going to follow Diora. When Diora is playing 1, 2, with this one here, 1, 3. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? You can do that with that wheel. Nice. Yeah, the same for one. Whatever you want to do. You want to take one. You look like a new player. So go. I like it. Stop it. Oh my God. Okay, now. Beautiful. This is the most beautiful, one that I've heard in many years. Okay, now we have this group complete. Well, I think we can go do something with this group. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the numeric band for the Center for Puerto Rican Studies. Please give a hand to them. How's it going? I love that. Okay, now people, just silence, please. Okay, silence. This is historical. You can bring your cell phones, everything, and there's no prohibition here. Okay, there's no problem. Okay, ready? Silence, please. You can come. Got it. Yeah. Okay. there sitting and, hey, this is so nice. Okay, no. You know, chorus and response, as mentioned Professor Nadal before, is inherited from Africa. Remember, at that time, what they had in Europe was more the medieval kind of choral music, mostly in the way unison. Okay, you study that music, but then the African brings us that particularity aspect of the hearing, chorus and response. So the chorus goes like this: "Say bandera, bandera, say banderita, banderita." Now following the one, okay, they're very important. You're gonna say bandera, banderi, 1, 2, 3, and wait. Bandera. Okay, let's do it. 1, 2, with you. 4. 1, 2. Yeah. Wait, go. Bandera, banderita. Bandera, bandera. Bandera, banderita. Oye, mira mi bandera, qué bonita. Bandera, banderita. Qué bonita, bandera, que todo el mundo bonita. Bandera, banderita. No te olvides del uno. Bandera, banderita. No te olvides del uno. Bandera, banderita. Bandera, bonita, bandera, todo el mundo la canta bonita, bandera, banderita, bandera, banderita, bandera, banderita, banderita, That we have so beautiful. Give a hand please to the people for coming. That comes from the people part of the Q&A part. Okay. Okay. So I'm so thrilled, glad, and honored. What? Gutierrez, come over here, please. Because you're a person that needs to be recognized tonight. No, don't say, oh, wow. I'm not that you're shy. Okay? I always say, oh, my God. I had one many years ago, since we were in the Boston Conservatory, right? But we shared a beautiful moment when I came with Atabal, at the point Atabal was before it's developed into the group that is now. Montegrasa, after 4 years ago, we went to New York and we shared which one at Enero 21, and that was a beautiful moment. We shared with Flores, his first name, Bobo Flores. He was from the Flores family from Mayagüez, a family that Don Rafael Cepeda learned from about the bomba. Okay, a family, very important family from Mayagüez. And Don Rafael Cepeda, as I mentioned before, is from Mayagüez. Mayagüez is an important town because they have that connection with Haiti. When you hear Felix Alduen saying it in French, Asian, the bomba, okay, or when you hear the walk up from Guadalupe, I was able to produce a show when I was in the Institute of Culture, Instituto de Cultura, the music program, with a group from Guadalupe and a group from Loiza, Bomba and Bomba. Okay? And that was incredible to see the concert. Thank you, Juan, for the work that you have been doing here in Florida as well. I love you. Thank you, Juan. So if we don't talk for people like Juan, okay, many people in the United States, Chicago is doing a great job. Philadelphia is doing a great job. And many people in New York here, youth, young people, okay? One's daughter is doing a beautiful job. I was watching her video of her recently, and it's beautiful, the way she's dancing the bomba is young. And many of the young people in Puerto Rico investigating, researching, and bringing the bomba to the place supposed to be at the plena. The best activity, we did this recognition, Tito Mato, who lives in New York, who was with other people who tried to organize those plenazos. Before the bombazos were already there when I returned to Puerto Rico. Before it was a selected group that we were doing that in many places. Now in many parts of Puerto Rico, the bombazo, the plenazo, thanks to Jesus Sequeira and many other people have been done. Here you got Roberto, I have it here in Boston also, and Roberto Cepeda, one of the best of the bomba. Just go to YouTube. Look for Roberto Cepeda, look for Enero 21, look for the bombazo and the plenazo. All the material is there. So I would like to open this part here for Q&A, questions and answers. Okay, but don't be difficult questions.
And I wanted to add that, first of all, let's have a big hand for Jorge Addison, who did and let's thank invited artists over here. We have Mr. Please, Juan Mayor. And where's Juan Gutierrez? You still around? Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Juan.
Yeah, I was talking about the jobs also. Thank you. Thank you.
So right after the Q&A session, we have refreshments, right? So we have till 9 o'clock, which means we have a good bit of time left. So okay, let's open it up to
Yes.
responses, questions from the audience to Mr. Addison or myself or whatever. Okay.
Did you remember starting this?
How did it start?
Yes.
Okay, Bélica is a neighborhood, barrio, the Bomba and Plena. As I mentioned before, Rafael Cepeda lived there, Al-Shabaab, Mayagüez was a tenero who lived in my street. We have other people in the Calles 5, 5, that Manolin, who has a group of Plena, who combine the German origin, accordion, who came from the German people. Okay, but it's very important. It's in the merengue also, and it's in the cumbia, that German contribution, and combined guitar. And you know the guitar doesn't come from the white Spain, come from the Arab Spain, from Morocco to Spain to us. Okay, so that's very important. Those instruments combined there and the wheel. Okay, and those people used to hear them with the plena, with the bomba. Jacinta used to go by my house like an African woman with this bundle of clothes that she was washing, dancing, and like dancing a bomba every day. And one day, her and Al-Shabaab stopped the traffic, and they got the big drums. They sit down the drum and coming from the high school, and they were playing the bomba from Ponce, okay, from Puerto Rico. Okay, like the prophets. Okay, this is the music, and she was dancing the bomba. That was incredible. That was a picture in an image clear in my mind that will never will erase. Okay. About the Plena, I got fortunate to play Goyo Loreta. So, I mean, to meet Goyo Loreta. And Goyo Loreta, from my barrio, used to live in Calle 6. They have different streets. Okay? And he used to come to my house a lot because he was a very good friend of my father. My father used to ride him to the Castillo Maravilla to dance Bomba y Plena. Then I discovered years afterwards, that was a secret, that my father was one of the singers of the Plena there. Okay? So there's something in the family, even though he came from Pueblo, that is hero music, okay? But if you know hero music, it has the African flavor. Because he has the North African region more. So not by chance he likes so much the Plena also. And I work with both, with my mother from San Antonio, who was living now at that moment in Belgium, and with my God, my grandmother, Regina, happens to be that this friend of ours who is a great percussionist at Carrillo, Anthony Carrillo, I was in her house, in his house, and he told me that we found the connection. We are cousins. He was cousin to my mother. And he used to dance bomba with my grandmother. For Regina, my grandmother was a bomba dancer. Okay, so I have all that in the blood. And not by chance, I like this so much. Okay? But I decided to go further down, especially when I made the Cepeda family. Those together, they opened my mind a lot. And then going back to my aunt in Visa Francesca, I don't know if you know Visa Francesca from San Antonio, who used to organize a bomba group, the mother of Santiago, and she is my aunt. So we have all that connection right there. Okay, to answer your question, also.
Are you family of Agustin Arce?
No, a lot of people answer maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe, but Arce came from Toledo, Spain, and he was a slave. And he gave his last name to slaves. Okay, so when I was in Tufts University in Boston doing a presentation, and this girl, a nice person, who came sincerely to me, I'm from Spain and I'm Arce. Are we related? I said, well, in a way, but let me tell you the story.
But very special way.
Arce is not very common.
It is a very common last name. My God Arce, a great writer who I met also, you met also there in Puerto Rico, my God Arce de Vasquez. He carries the last name Arce. Okay? Even though she's not really his face, like an African Puerto Rico, but she's an African Puerto Rico. Thank you, Mara. Thank you for being here. Okay, thank you.
Good job. Good
Okay, basically, the question?
Oh, real quick, I know that the regional differences of Bomba, what's the African connection in Ponce as to why they put the drum down?
Okay, let me answer to you with another fact. I was talking to, and thanks for bringing that question, the connection with Africa. And in Africa, we get, as you know, Congo people in the south. In the south. Also, we have people from Mozambique. We have people from the parts. But remember, in 1898, the Europeans created those boundaries as we know as Africa, were created by the Europeans. They created the boundaries of Congo, of Angola. If you look behind that, there is a European power behind that. Okay, Guinea, this is the French in Guinea. Okay, and you know how Guinea, just to, before I answer your question, got his name? Sekou Sila, a great friend who lived in Amherst, Massachusetts, who was member of the, thank you, one, love you, okay, love you. Was member of the national dance troupe from Guinea. Okay, you look at videos from, you're gonna see it there. Okay, he told me recently that Guinea, they got the name because these French explorers, they came and found this woman washing their clothes in the river. Okay, doing the laundry in the river. And they asked him about the other, what was the other side. Okay, they told them Conakry. Or Conakry, I mean, they were asking them in French, they didn't know French. Conakry means go to the other side. And they named that area Conakry, they made the houses, and then they asked them their name in French. They don't know French. They call it Kine. Kine means woman. And they placed the name to Guinea, to Guinea, to the whole country. Okay? In the same way it happened with the Taino, continues to happen in the history. What language do we speak? What are we studying about? Who is the perspective? Okay, let's go back. This is what Centro told me about the Bomba. I will use a first Puerto Rico in 2009. El primer festival de la herencia africana, the first African Heritage Festival. Maybe we can do it here with you. Okay? And I brought all these groups from the island that were, have something to do with the African heritage. Okay? It was a week of celebration. We dedicated that to great people, among them Berta Cepeda, and it was great. And then I brought this group, Babidele, dance and drummers, who Sekou Sila is a director, and Babidele, his wife, are director of this group. They brought people from Mali, they brought people, great musicians. Okay, it was great to add to that. And one day we were invited that week by the government of Guam, the mayors of Guam, invited us to go there during the week. We went to a special celebration, we were sharing with the students, and these students were very good. They came with their barriles and they asked Sekou about this. Okay? We told them, this is Jankaji. Jankaji is the name. Okay? And it's the Susu from Guinea, precisely, they play that. Okay? And then he plays all this name. I was curious about it, and on one of the visits I did to his house, we used to go every often throughout the year. I went, I took the drums, and I go, talk to me about that, let's write this down. I don't even know where the place is now, but recently, since I needed to come here, okay, I asked him about the phone. Okay, listen to the rhythm, tell me the name, and tell me the group. And he started giving all these stories. So Zachary is from the Susu, but it's the first part of what we call Hollandais. Okay? Hollandais, we call it Makudu. So the second part goes faster, and it's an Hollandais, what we call Hollandais, the Makudu, to finish that part. And listen up. When we do have the Bomba celebration, and that you can examine that with the Cepeda, the last rhythm that is played always to finish the dance is the Hollandais. But why is it called Hollandais? Because Dr. Álvarez Nazario, in his book about the African language in Puerto Rico, they have that book. He, in the examining of the language, he also goes into the music. And there is a passage in which he mentions that all of them come from the people, the African descendants or Africans brought from the Dutch islands. But what happens? In the 19th century, abolition slavery was declared illegal. Okay? But nonetheless, especially those masters from Ponce that were really powerful, they started bringing illegal slaves. Enslaved people, I don't call it slaves, I call it enslaved. There's no country called enslaved, whatever. Okay? Enslaved people, they were brought illegally from the islands. Besides those people like Haitians who infiltrated the island. Okay? That's why we have that connection, and that's how Álvarez Nazario assured that particular meaning came from there. Okay? But basically, when you go back to Sekou Sila, from the Susu, they have that. They have the Yankali, and the Shikotan to finish that part. Okay? Let's go now to the Yuba. Okay? Manjani. From the Manjani come from the Wangana. Okay? Wangana, Mankele Wangana, I think it is that group, ethnic group, from the area where we are placed, Mandingo. When you hear about Mandingo, there was no such Mandingo. Okay? There were these people that used to play the tuba, or what I call, what did I say, the name of the tuba? Manjani, okay? The tuba, the Manjani, as they play, as they do training, is a little different. What is that? Tuba from Loiza. El lugar lo hizo straight that way. Okay, it's not. Okay. Then we go to the audio mula. Okay. And the audio mula was placed with the people of Baga. The people, the ethnia of Baga, that were fishermen that were placed in the coast from Guinea to Senegal, and it's called Tiriba. Can you say Tiriba? Okay, that's important, and that's placed with those groups there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I'm taking notes.
Okay.
And then some.
Okay, so basically, those are some of the names that I mentioned before in my little short article. Okay, so we need to take that in consideration. When we disappear the frontiers of Africa, then it opens for. It opens that maybe those groups that live in the Congo, some of them across those pan-European boundaries, they were the same people. In the same way, the people from Yemen, in Arabia, Djibouti, across the sea are the same people. Okay? After the European divide has separated Arabia and India from the rest of the African continent. Okay? So it's very important that we recognize that the Igbo, Yoruba, Super, Nubu, Malinke, Wakana, that is the group from the Tiriba. Okay, and all the groups that you can find, maybe if you look for information, the Centro de Estudios Avanzados de Puerto Rico has sponsored this publication from Dr. Lopez Valdez about African in Puerto Rico and Cuba, the groups that came and where they were placed. It really applies to us because it really opens us what really behind the Bomba and the Plena. Okay, starting with the Arabs. Remember something. We say ojalá, from ojalá. We eat or consume azúcar, it's Arab, azúcar. We cover with the sábana, that's Arab. Okay? And we sleep put our head in an almohad, another Arab word, and you use the pantalon, right? Or camisa. So why what happens with the school system that does not clarify history to us since we are children? Why do they keep hiding the real history? Okay, a lot of us can be avoided of identity with our children, especially when we're in a place that we don't belong to. Okay, a lot of problems can be psychological problems included. Okay, just one question. I'm sorry that I went too far.
Yeah, we have a few more minutes, and then we have refreshments, by the way, okay, after we finish the session.
Have you found any connection between the sacred batazo, FIFA, and Bomba y Plena?
I know that there is, I used to practice the vueltas. And there is a vuelta that I don't remember very well the name, but it sounds a lot like a plena. But go, the basic, the ya, okay? And the combination with the okonkolo and the omele and the drum, the total, it sounds like a plena. Okay, so when it's a section that we used to practice, but I stopped practicing that for many, except for the Yakarotepu that I still practice it. Kila, that one that goes, if you play with one drum, remember the same thing, the bata is high pitch on one side, low pitch. Okay, ya, abritando de bow. And they are going to then you, some people, you find that some people combine it like this. You combine three drums, one person plays with three drums. Okay. Okay, more or less to give you that. But in terms of the connection, the one that I found that was more with the plena was that vuelta. Okay, And I call it well, there's different pattern depending on the deity, okay, that they're celebrating or, praying for, okay?
Okay, I want to ask you a question because it's something that I would like to research. I know that in Afro-Cuban drumming, particularly in the religion, etc., the drums are consecrated. In other words, they have ceremonies with for the drummers, etc., especially for the babalaos.
That's in one part. That's in Nigeria, Yoruba.
Right.
Yoruba is not in all Africa the same. That's remember, we have to consider that every ethnia or every cultural group, as I call them, have their different practices.
Right.
What happened when I met with Dr. Angel Leon in 1978, we were invited by the ministry to a tour with the Centro. We had this special occasion with Dr. Angel Leon. Actually, his wife gave me this book about music from Cuba. And I found out that the Pleneros Cañeros from Puerto Rico who emigrated to Dominican Republic and then to Cuba, they influenced in the structure of the song Cuba. Which is great about this connection. So one thing that he tells us is that practice of music in Cuba is pure. Because of this group that were brought from this very part of Africa, we have this mixture. Actually, if you look at Thompson, remember this anthropologist?
Yes.
There's a beautiful
Farris Thompson.
that he did, and you can see the film in Nigeria playing. Okay, they're playing the bata not with the hands, with a little kind of, how can we call it, like a paleta, we call it, okay? That's how they play the bata, in this part of Nigeria. Okay, the only place I have seen that is in Matanza, if you play like that. Okay, so that gives you another perspective. So I cannot take one practice and, because then we fall in the trap of what the trap that happened with the Europeans conquerors, placing the name to everything. And not really respecting diversity, okay? And that's what's happening now, okay? Right now, they consider us the same. They don't know that we, Latino people are different. From Dominican Republic to Puerto Rico, we have diversity of Cuba. We speak the Spanish, different versions of the Spanish. We have different, even in our own island, we have this difference. So just to, just respectfully, just
Good. No, that clarifies an awful lot. We have about another couple of minutes, maybe one or two more questions, because we have to get another place soon.
I remember,
we have some refreshments.
I know the historian, I'm an actor, okay, so please. Forgive me for... Okay, another question first. Another question?
I have a question. Is there any funding by the government of Puerto Rico going into the spreading of the...
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear the first
Is
part.
there any funding?
Is there any funding?
Puerto Rico.
Repeat everybody?
Funding.
Funding, money.
Yeah, money going into the spread of Bomba y Plena in Puerto Rico.
Well, let me tell you, when I went to direct the music program, the history of culture, I got there, I did my research before getting into my post. I found out that all those efforts are individual efforts. Okay? Then I have to call them. We need money, we need to do this, we need to do that, what you need. Then I have to come to Miami crying because she's like my sister, because nobody was taking care of her. A very important woman. At that point, 2001, I mean, we're talking about the 21st century. And I think there's still a problem. As to anyone, it's still a problem. What Tito Mato's been doing is on his own, his pocket with the Plenazo. And everybody in the Plenazo is from their own in the pocket. The Bombazo the state, but Superstella is the most wiser because he goes right to the mayor Caguas, the other one. No, the one nearby Caguas now. And he told the mayor, we need this is important, and he got the money. But, nonetheless, we got also recording and everything is from his own pocket. So this is not really, I do this for my pocket. Okay?
I think the only thing that I read about the question of funding by the government for the arts, particularly for folkloric and the African part, is that they developed for the tourists, and this was a tourist bureau, what they called a little like festival where they actually have a series of dancers who do a little bit, actually it's very superficial. And they include Bomba y Plena, that's an afterthought. But they do stress more the hero, the decimas, and the seis and the aguinaldo. But that's basically for tourists. And it's not something that they get deeply into, let's say.
That's why I was asking so much, because funding, where is that? Okay, but listen, for example, I'm right there in the table, you can take a slip and make a donation to Humano. This is a project that really supports Bomba Sankofa, supports many people who are the school that doesn't have any money. I've been putting in that for my pocket, but that's with the past. Before I returned to the United States 3 years ago, that was in the 90s. Getting that money, you don't have the money? Okay, just get something and I match it with you. Okay? So I ask you please to take a slip and get a donor, someone that you know that can give money to our project, that can help us. And come to the Penazo and enjoy, okay? Enjoy.
And with those words, let's give a big hand to our performer, historian, theatrical performer. What do you have to say? Thank you. If you have refreshments, we still have a few minutes, so please make the middle on the other side, right? Okay, thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Gracias.
Oh, there's some CDs here if you want, and there's some information that you got to take home, okay, with you. Okay, thank you. And also the table and out there. Thank you. 15. Yo tengo cambios, el caso. Son $15. ¿Lo tiene mejor? Ok, gracias. Para la segunda,
Make it easy.